They will not crush us.
Sometimes, brothers make mistakes.
You'll never change. I know that.
As promised, Rockstar has come through with a new trailer to Red Dead Redemption 2, the longest yet at around 2 minutes. But even in that short span, the team crams in a lot to showcase the latest iteration of its rage technology. Bonfires blaze, horses stampede, and the game's huge cast is revealed more fully in close-up. It may be light on actual gameplay, but 5 years on from Grand Theft Auto 5, it hones in on where Rockstar's energies are being placed on the technical front. So let's backtrack a bit. GTA 5 was a last-gen effort first, impressively delivering the sprawl of Los Santos at 720p and 30 FPS before making a move to PS4, Xbox One and PC with enhanced features. This time, Red Dead Redemption 2 is built with 4 specs in mind: PS4, Xbox One, and their 2 enhanced counterparts, the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X. With that in mind, the base threshold of quality is raised over anything we've seen from the studio so far, and it means no more catering to last-gen standards. Now, no platform is listed in this trailer, but to put its best foot forward, it's conceivable that Rockstar is showing off either PS4 Pro or Xbox One X renditions of the game. Equally, there is the prospect we're seeing footage from an as yet unannounced PC build. In any case, is what we're seeing here a generational leap over GTA 5 and indeed the original Red Dead Redemption? To answer that, I've poured over a high quality encode of the trailer supplied by Rockstar itself. Studying each frame closely in slow motion, all signs do point to a true in-engine representation of the game, with visual highs and limitations as we'll cover later. The core metrics are straightforward though. Image quality is exceptionally clean here, and Rockstar's chosen to deliver a 1920 by 1080 capture with a strong post-process anti-aliasing setting to match it. Surprisingly, in this day and age, it's not a 4K capture, and so we'll have to see what Ultra HD TV support PS4 Pro and Xbox One X bring down the line. Also, this being a 30fps trailer encode, there's sadly no fair way for me to test frame rates today. Now, I say 1080p, but due to the 2.39 to 1 aspect ratio in use, only 1920 by 864 pixels are actually being displayed. In keeping with the trailer's cinematic push, that smaller window of pixels is pristinely presented. Helped along by soft bloom and volumetric lighting effects, geometric edges in each scene are beautifully blended with the space in between, often hiding any stair steps. Previous trailers didn't have a 100% perfect anti-aliasing pass, but here, coverage of even visually noisy elements like grass is thorough. In motion, as horses chase past at speed, that means flicker on 2D transparent elements like foliage is minor. Anti-aliasing isn't flawless though. Geometry and transparent elements are one part of the package, and the fact is fine details like hair and even horsetails show stippling artifacts. The complexity of hair is something many games struggle to present, and here, if you look close, Rockstar's engine produces a dithered look that doesn't match the rest of the game. Equally surprising is that no full-screen motion blur is applied at all, even in fast cutscenes, which might have helped disguise that shortcoming. Much like the original Red Dead Redemption, each frame is kept totally pure and clean. A per-object motion blur is at least added in some scenes, like this close-up of galloping legs, which is new to the series. Bearing in mind the last Grand Theft Auto introduced an advanced post-process pipeline for depth of field, bloom, plus superior tessellation, shadow quality and extended draw distances, it was a stunner from every angle. Every visual high point returns here, and certainly comparisons with the original Red Dead Redemption are stark. Much of that starts with the design of the frontier. We're simply seeing a higher density of elements. Foliage in particular is produced in a greater mass on the wildlands, and in the central town area, 32 pedestrians are on show in this shot alone. Now, bearing in mind the limit of the Rage engine is 256 NPCs for GTA 5 on PC, it'll be interesting to see how far this sequel can really push this. One of the standout points of this third trailer is in character detail though. Rockstar's model designs go beyond GTA 5's in close-up shots, something this preview is keen to emphasise. Though as ever, much of the attraction is still down to the interplay between physically based materials and engine lighting. Whether that's the scarred, sweaty skin as the group overlooks a bonfire, or the fur coat shaders covered in a layer of snow, everything is authentically constructed. There's even a transparent element to thin materials in this shot, letting light realistically pass through shirts. It's all very impressive. Now that's not to say realism is entirely the aim here. Materials are true to life in many ways, but character animations build on the Rockstar formula. Bodies are fully motion captured, while facial movement for lips and eyes are keyed in using a visual reference. The result is a more caricatured look to character faces, and expressions are a tad stiff at points, but it still convincingly conveys each character's performance. Rockstar could potentially have taken the ultra-realistic route here, using the motion scan technologies of LA Noire for example. Instead, opting for the stylized approach in RDR2 does help avoid the uncanny valley, and better yet, is in keeping with the first Red Dead Redemption style. An interesting comparison point from the first game is John Marston himself, who makes a fleeting cameo. The trailer shows him 12 years younger, and while his face is suitably fresher, the resolution of skin shaders is a clear upgrade. Unfortunately, the same can't be said of environmental detail. Excluding the high frequency materials for rocks, textures on the frontier tend to look flat and simplistic by comparison to the characters. And sadly, it's really hard to overlook the basic texture filtering used here. It may well be an early showing, but you can see an obvious filtering cascade, blurring surfaces at sharp angles. It's another sign that perhaps we're seeing genuine console footage here, given this is a similar habit to GTA 5 on console. Overall, a lot of the technologies in the trailer don't look too far off from GTA 5. The difference? Well, the engine is pushed to strike a different visual note altogether. We have more grassy, open outback areas, and the cutback in cars and looming skyscrapers means RDR2 can allocate its polygon count to an evident boost in character detail. Another unique focus in this trailer is on lighting and effects. A lot is made of licking flames, whether that's from a bonfire, or pulling a gun's trigger, or even a house set ablaze. It makes an incredible example of the game's individually lit particles, each of which interact with nearby plumes of smoke. Clearly, this is a game that would look sensational with high dynamic range support. Between the dust and mist, we have god rays, bloom and lens flare in a majority of shots. Interiors even have a beautiful dusty appearance, especially here, where light floods through and around the structure of the glass. It's a clear aesthetic push in this footage, and while light shafts were a feature in the original game, it was never pushed quite this hard. No lighting model is complete without its other half. Notably, dynamic shadows are cast even from bonfires, producing a pleasingly large high-quality silhouette as characters crawl past. Unfortunately, screen space ambient occlusion makes a return from GTA 5 on console, and the limits there are still apparent. The telltale sign is the way that shade actually disappears towards the fringes of a foreground object. Take this swaying arm as an example, and note the way light and shade seem to shift around him with his movement. It's a screen space logic, a cheaper way to calculate ambient shadows based on what the camera can see. And while it's a step ahead of the first Red Dead Redemption's often bare corners, it's not as precise as you'd have hoped for a follow-up to GTA 5. This is a cinematic trailer of course, only in gameplay can we make a full call on how the technologies have evolved. Grand Theft Auto 5 blew us away on release and added a swathe of cutting edge technologies to an already great engine, especially its post effects and animations. In 2013 it felt like it was burning on all cylinders to give us the most complete open world experience, on a micro and macro scale. All of this came through in actual gameplay though, in how the AI interacts with itself and the way its dynamic time of day and weather affected its materials. In Red Dead Redemption 2's case, the full picture is still hidden until we go hands-on. The release is penned in for October 26th, but at the very least, early glimpses today show a familiar baseline to Rockstar's last major release. This time the character detail, effects and lighting are clearly a point of pride, but for the rest of the package we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, that's all from me today. If you found this one interesting or insightful, do let me know with a hit of the like or subscribe buttons. Our Patreon at digitalfoundry.net also has this analysis at its source file quality, plus the original trailer encode supplied by Rockstar. Otherwise, if you want to get in touch directly with me or the team, you can do exactly that on Twitter. But until next time, thanks for watching.